Next to my full-time job, I built this iOS app in just 2 weeks, allowing you to scan and categorize books digitally. I experimented with a bunch of AI tools to get this done, and in this video I'll show you exactly how. If I can do this, so can you. Essentially what I want to do is create a sort of letterbox, but for books. Some AI that I've thought of that I definitely want to use is I want to refine my workflow with GPT. I want to try Cursor AI, which is a tool I've seen across the whole internet, and maybe compare GPT to some large language models that I have used before, such as Claude for coding. The goal truly is to have a functioning app I could basically be posting in the App Store at the end of these 2 weeks. In its essence, the app should just digitally represent your physical bookshelf. I'm going to try and implement simple scanning of books to add them. So you should be able to just flip a book around, scan the barcode, and it automatically gets added to your library with all the necessary information via an API call. You should be able to rate and review these books and categorize them into 2 shelves, basically just differentiating between the books you're currently reading and just your whole big bookshelf with all your books. You should be able to connect with friends, because another core feature is being able to see what books your friends have and be able to lend them to friends. This is because I want the app to not be another distraction on your phone, but instead I want it to be a catalyst for lending and talking about books in real life with friends. After defining the initial concept, I was ready to start the actual coding project. If this is your first look into app development, this is Xcode. Xcode is the Mac native development environment. One of the coolest features is this preview screen you can see on the right-hand side, which actually updates in real time as you make changes in the code. Since at this point in time, I had been very used to using GPT to code, I decided to use GPT to fill up my project with some placeholder code that would give me a sort of foundation to work from. After a solid few hours of work, I had my first prototype. At this point, I was ready to set up Firebase. Firebase is a platform by Google that, in this case, will manage authentication and cloud storage. With this, development could finally begin for real. I'm pretty much halfway through the 2 weeks now. I didn't make the time to actually sit down and work on it, simply because it was just a busy week. I'm pretty happy with the progress so far, despite I'm not really working on it for a long time. Last weekend I focused solely on the Firebase authentication. Yesterday I invested a lot of hours in setting up the whole backend of Firebase Firestore. So what the app looks like now is users can log in and users can add new books manually to their individual book list. This week specifically, a new version of Claude came out, and I tried that out yesterday and it was really freaking good. Basically what I've been doing is the hard things I'm letting Claude do, and then if I have smaller questions to the code that Claude suggests, I just go to GPT. It's a very manual workflow, switching between chats, having Claude here, then GPT there, and then Xcode there. But I like the workflow, and of course I definitely want to try AI IDEs like Cursor. But yeah, I'm gonna invest another few hours today, and we'll see how far I get. I just spent 3 days working with Cursor AI for the first time. Using Cursor, my first impression is it's very powerful, almost a bit too powerful. It's like a knife that's a bit too sharp, where it's too effective and you overachieve. You really do need your own competence too. Very much it's a tool to be used. It's not a tool that, at least in its current stage, can fully act on its own. The last 3 days have been a mix of big frustration but also amazing wonder, because it's incredible to watch Cursor just go through your code and make all these changes, but at the same time it's just really hard to maintain a sense of context in your own code base, I guess. The 2 weeks are over. What you just saw is the final version of the app for now. To give a final overview of the actual functionality of the app, there's 3 main views: the bookshelf view, the friends view, and the profile view. Users can log into their created accounts, they can store their books, they can scan them in their bookshelf, add friends, see their friends' details, and also edit their own details. The main scanning of the functionality of the app works super well. I'm using the Google Books API to populate the data, and so far it's worked like a charm. There's definitely still some kinks with the app though. For example, in the backend, the Firestore rules are set up in a way that I wouldn't be comfortable shipping this app to the general public yet, and also some UI elements are a bit buggy. Overall though, it's really exciting. It's cool to see this idea come to life in this prototype-y way, and I'm definitely down to continue building and iterating on this specific app. The goal still is publishing this app eventually to the App Store, which would be my first ever app put out to the public, which in turn would be very exciting too. If you're interested in checking out the code, I've linked the GitHub repository down below. Anyways, I learned a lot throughout this whole experience. Thank you for sticking around, and I'll see you in the next one.